What if the most powerful people you know are not the ones speaking the loudest, earning the highest salaries, or displaying the sharpest intelligence? What if the true source of influence lies in something far less visible, something that most people never notice until it is too late? Here is the paradox. Those who never demand respect often command it. Those who never chase attention are the ones who hold it effortlessly, and those who never announce their worth are precisely the ones assumed to be valuable. Why does this happen, and what hidden trait explains it? The answer, as Machiavelli hinted more than 5 centuries ago, is neither wealth nor brilliance, but the mastery of invisible dominance. To understand this phenomenon, we must move beyond superficial assumptions about power. Popular culture encourages the belief that confidence is measured by volume, by how assertively one pushes their agenda into the world. Yet history, psychology, and behavioral observation reveal the opposite. Influence in its most effective form operates through subtlety. It is the difference between a spotlight and a shadow. One draws temporary attention, the other shapes the environment without ever appearing to act. The individual who embodies this capacity does not rely on the noise of self-promotion, but on the silent gravity of presence. Consider the psychological mechanisms at play. Human beings are wired to respond not merely to what is said, but to what remains unsaid. Mystery generates cognitive engagement. When someone withholds information about their emotions, intentions, or strategies, observers unconsciously begin to fill the gaps. This projection process amplifies curiosity, respect, and often even fear. Social psychologists have long demonstrated that ambiguity can create a powerful halo effect. We tend to assign greater depth and capability to individuals who do not fully disclose themselves. In contrast, those who constantly explain, overshare, or seek validation erode their own authority because they remove all doubt and all mystique. This principle was articulated by Niccolo Machiavelli, who observed that appearances could be crafted deliberately to conceal reality. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The lesson here is not cynicism, but strategy. Control over perception provides leverage. The art lies in shaping what others are allowed to perceive while safeguarding the substance of one's true intentions. By doing so, one cultivates an aura of unpredictability, a quality that prevents others from exploiting weaknesses or reducing complex identity to simplistic judgments. From a behavioral perspective, invisible dominance can be described as a pattern of controlled disclosure. The person practicing it knows when to remain silent, when to reveal selectively, and when to step forward with precision. This strategy contrasts sharply with the common urge to seek transparency at all costs. Transparency, while valuable in ethical governance, can be disastrous at the interpersonal level when it eliminates every element of negotiation. Once your reactions, preferences, and vulnerabilities are entirely visible, you become manipulable. Emotional predictability invites exploitation. The truly influential figure therefore cultivates unreadability. Their silence is not absence but design. Their restraint is not weakness but strength. In environments dominated by noise and haste, the one who pauses, listens, and calculates stands apart. Predictability is one of the most common traps that undermine influence. In ordinary life, people equate openness with trustworthiness. They assume that making every emotion, thought, and plan visible will earn credibility. In reality, this habit does the opposite. When others can map out your reactions, they can control you. If they know what triggers your anger, they can provoke you at will. If they know what kind of praise makes you glow, they can use flattery to redirect your choices. This is why predictability is the enemy of power. Machiavelli's insight into rulers offers a timeless lesson. One can measure the intelligence of a leader by the people they keep around them. But more revealing is the inverse: others measure your strength by how much you conceal. Smart individuals treat information as a finite currency. They know that every disclosure is a transaction, every reaction a negotiation. The moment you overshare, you give away leverage. The moment you overreact, you surrender respect. The moment you over-explain, you diminish authority. Influence depends on selective revelation, not exhaustive confession. This does not mean adopting artificial mystery for its own sake. Random vagueness is not power, it is confusion. What matters is strategic opacity. Being deliberate about what you reveal when you reveal it and to whom you reveal it creates a structure of control. You design the narrative instead of letting the narrative design you. A professional negotiator, for example, never discloses their maximum concessions at the beginning. A seasoned leader never announces every decision-making rationale in real time. The disciplined strategist waits, observes, and releases information at moments of maximum impact. Silence is one of the most effective tools in this approach. Psychologically, silence triggers discomfort in most people. They rush to fill gaps with words, often revealing more than they intend. For the trained observer, silence becomes a laboratory of intelligence. By saying less, you gain more insight into the motives of others, more time to process hidden agendas, more room to craft deliberate responses. In every conversation, the one who asks thoughtful questions wields greater control than the one who answers impulsively. The observer always operates one step ahead because they are mapping the terrain while others are busy exposing themselves. Consider the strategic use of scarcity. Human beings assign value to what is rare. When your presence, attention, or approval becomes too easily accessible, it loses its weight. But when you are selective, your time becomes precious, your opinion significant, your appearance notable. The scarcity principle operates in markets, relationships, and reputations alike. Gold is treasured not because it is universally available, but precisely because it is not. Influence functions the same way. The more strategically you ration your energy, the more others compete to earn it. In practice, this requires discipline. It means resisting the instinct to respond immediately to every call, every message, every demand. It means declining invitations that dilute your focus. It means showing up less often, but with greater impact. Presence must be curated, not distributed indiscriminately. This is the distinction between being noticed occasionally and being remembered permanently. Strategic presence is not about omnipresence. Many people equate influence with constant participation. They try to attend every meeting, join every conversation, and speak on every issue. They believe that being everywhere guarantees recognition, yet what truly happens is the opposite. They become background noise, present but forgettable. Strategic presence requires discernment. It is the art of appearing at the right moment, in the right context, with a contribution so precise that it defines the encounter. When this happens, you are not simply part of the event. You become the event that others remember. This requires saying no to many opportunities so that the few you choose can become defining. Consider how memory works. People rarely recall those who speak constantly, but they remember the individual whose words were delivered at the perfect time in the perfect tone with the perfect weight. The scarcity of your interventions makes them powerful. It transforms your speech into an event, not a routine. This aligns with Machiavelli's observation that a leader must be both a fox and a lion. The fox to discern hidden dangers, the lion to project decisive force. Strategic presence is the calibration of these two modes. Sometimes the wisest move is invisibility, the fox's patience. At other times, influence demands the lion's roar, a dramatic entry that shifts the entire dynamic. Closely tied to presence is emotional control, arguably the most overlooked dimension of power. Human beings are manipulated daily through emotional triggers. Praise is used to disarm criticism, to destabilize urgency, to pressure guilt, to compel. If your emotions dictate your responses, you become a puppet in the hands of those who understand these levers. Emotional mastery is therefore not about suppression, but about distinction, recognizing feelings without becoming ruled by them. Anger can be felt privately without exploding publicly. Flattery can be enjoyed internally without letting it dictate your loyalty. Pressure can be acknowledged without letting it accelerate your decisions. In every instance, the pause between stimulus and response becomes the seat of power. Strategic silence plays a vital role here. When others expect immediate answers, your pause unsettles them. When others compete to dominate a discussion, your silence marks you as the most composed participant in the room. When negotiations reach tension, silence becomes both shield and weapon. People interpret your quiet as deliberation, as confidence, as strength. More importantly, they often fill the silence with information they never planned to reveal. What looks like stillness is in fact active influence. You are gathering intelligence while they are broadcasting vulnerability. This philosophy extends to capability management. Revealing your entire skill set at once undermines your advantage. The strongest professionals reveal themselves gradually in layers, each demonstration timed to context. This keeps curiosity alive, maintains unpredictability, and prevents others from constructing complete countermeasures. Concealed capacity is not deception, but strategy. It ensures you always hold reserves in negotiation, conflict, or collaboration. Others can only exploit what they can see, never what remains undisclosed. Uncertainty, when used strategically, magnifies influence. Predictability creates comfort, and comfort creates complacency. But when others cannot fully anticipate your next move, they invest more attention and energy into their interactions with you. This is not about being arbitrary or difficult. It is about balancing consistency in values with unpredictability in methods. When people know your principles are stable, but your tactics are fluid, they are compelled to treat you with caution and respect. The element of surprise becomes an asset, forcing others to remain engaged, alert, and adaptive in your presence. Think of how this applies in negotiations. A negotiator who responds instantly to every proposal is easy to corner. By contrast, one who alternates between rapid decisions in some cases and deliberate delays in others forces the opposing side to second-guess themselves. This unpredictability generates leverage because it destabilizes the assumptions of others. The same principle applies in leadership. A leader who occasionally shifts from warmth to cool detachment keeps subordinates striving for approval. A colleague who does not always respond immediately to requests makes their eventual responses more significant. Uncertainty, when directed wisely, creates gravity around your presence. The transition from understanding these principles to embodying them requires deliberate practice. Invisible dominance is not a personality trait. It is a cultivated discipline. It begins with eliminating habits that drain influence. Seeking constant validation is the first. The need for external approval makes you hostage to other people's opinions. Over-explaining every choice is the second. Providing excessive justification undermines authority by signaling insecurity. Reacting emotionally to every provocation is the third. Emotional impulsivity gives others the blueprint to manipulate you. Once these habits are identified and removed, the foundation of strategic influence can be built. Replacing destructive habits with empowering ones is the next step. The first practice is the pause. Pausing before responding allows the brain to shift from emotional reactivity to strategic reasoning. The second practice is questioning, asking rather than declaring. Not only extracts valuable information, but also frames you as the one guiding the conversation. The third practice is selectivity, granting your time and energy based on respect and significance, not convenience. This creates scarcity and magnifies value. The fourth practice is precision in speech, eliminating filler and choosing words that land with weight. Precision communicates authority far more effectively than volume ever could. Each of these practices converges into the creation of presence that feels both elusive and commanding. You become the individual who shapes dynamics without appearing to chase them. People begin to anticipate your contributions, respect your boundaries, and adjust their behavior around your unpredictability. This is not theatrical performance, but disciplined behavioral design. It is influence stripped of noise, rooted in psychology and sharpened through repetition. The final dimension of invisible dominance is integration. Knowledge of strategy alone does not produce transformation. Influence must be embodied until it becomes second nature. Every conversation, every negotiation, every decision is an arena for practice. The key is consistency without predictability, anchoring yourself in unshakable principles while expressing them through varied tactics. Over time, this creates an identity that is both trusted and untouchable, respected and unreadable. What does this look like in daily life? It means listening twice as much as you speak, using silence not as retreat but as control. It means observing people closely, their word choices, micro-expressions, patterns of reaction, and storing that intelligence for future advantage. It means declining the instinct to explain yourself unnecessarily, allowing your decisions to stand on their own authority. It means conserving emotional expression, releasing it only when it serves a larger goal. Most importantly, it means understanding that your greatest asset is not what others know about you, but what they cannot fully know. Machiavelli understood that the ruler who appears simple but conceals depth maintains the greatest leverage. Modern psychology confirms it. People project strength, wisdom, and capability onto those they cannot easily categorize. Mystery creates authority, while overexposure breeds vulnerability. True influence operates from shadows, guiding outcomes without demanding recognition. Your task now is not to imitate, but to apply. Begin with one adjustment, speak less than you normally would, observe more deeply, and release information with intention. With time, you will notice the shift. Attention will come to you instead of being chased. Respect will be granted instead of requested. Power will flow quietly in your direction. Become the hidden force that shapes reality, the individual underestimated until it is too late to resist. That is invisible dominance in action.